life, brother.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Dallas fans don't know what these are.
Gets it, Saquon Barkley. First down. Barkley. Oh! Saquon. E-A-G-L-E-S-G.
Go Birds, baby!
Welcome back. What is up, everybody?
Well, not even an introduction.
No,
He's
not
just
even an introduction.
throwing him right off
We'll
the
introduce
ice,
him
dog.
as we go.
Oh my god.
We got Chris. We got Benny.
You already know who it is.
Yeah, you read the title when you clicked on the video. We're talking about the draft.
I
You
know
already know what
nothing
it
about
is.
the draft, so I'm just gonna be LARPing and just like repeating everything I'm hearing from
This
these
guy knows
guys.
about the Flyers, though.
Oh yeah. Well,
How about the Fly Guys?
I'm not gonna tell you what name is on this jersey, but that's fine. That's fine.
Not Porter Martin. That's all you need to know. But anyway, we've got a kind of a different, not a different show, but maybe a little shorter, maybe a little longer. Who knows? We'll see how it goes.
Just winging it or
Yeah,
under
the winging it. But anyway,
Like that.
first things first.
I'm sorry.
We got some heartbreaking news at the beginning of this week. How real it is, who knows? But
I don't even know what it is.
allegedly,
Oh, I do.
it's all over, folks. Allegedly, A.J. Brown is a Patriot. Because according to Adam Schefter, although he isn't right now, post June 1st, A.J. Brown will most likely be a New England Patriot. Now, is that Adam Schefter trying to cover up for whatever is going on with all those reporters and Mike Vrabel? Or is he spitting some truth? Who knows? But that's why we've brought Benny, and that's why we brought Chris in, our experts, to let us know. So, first things first, what do we think and what do we make of this A.J. Brown report?
At this point, just get him the fuck out of here. I'm tired of talking about this shit. It's been 3 years. Like, it's been the same thing over and over again. Who's gonna get traded? He's gonna get traded. Trade him then. Just do it. Get him out of here. Now, I would hope. I kind of hope because of all the Rossini shit that he's not going to the Patriots and he's going somewhere else. But kind of if they get their price, they get their price, and it is what it is.
What about you, Benny?
Oh, I know Benny.
Yeah, Joey and I have been texting a lot. Away from the show, we've been talking a lot. And if you follow me on Twitter at Benny on the radio, you would probably know my position on this and the conspiracy that I've kind of built in my head. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think this is all smoke and mirrors. I think this is, what we forget is the NFL is an entity that is trying to basically secure every second it can of your attention span, and in today's day and age, people have the attention span of goldfish. So the NFL is constantly trying to be at the forefront of your sports viewing. And that, it's during the season, everyone loves football. But once the off season hits, there are dead periods. There's a dead period after the Super Bowl until just about the combine, maybe a little after that, for the actual casual fan, the dead zone is pretty much from the Super Bowl to the draft to the preseason. So the NFL needs something to occupy your time. My big conspiracy is the NFL has known about the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel, whatever you want to call it, the illicit relationship that they've developed, and basically has allowed it to cultivate and allow it to grow and allow it to become what it is because Diana Rossini has been covering this A.J. Brown story for so long. As to the validity of the A.J. Brown story, we're going to make some points here. There's going to be a lot of arguments on this show today. My belief is that it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make sense from the Eagles' standpoint on a lot of things. Why you would get rid of a talented player, a top receiver in the middle of the Super Bowl window. That's point number one. Point number two is the compensation you want back. If Jalen Waddle went for a first and a third, what does that put the price at for AJ Brown? To me, that puts the price at a first and a second, at least a first and a second. Maybe you can even argue 2 first-round picks for AJ Brown because, again, Jalen Waddle in the market, that set the market. He went for a first and a third. And if that's the market for Jalen Waddle, AJ Brown's market obviously has to be a little bit higher there. But my belief is that this is all smoke and mirrors. This is what the NFL does to cultivate, a story that isn't someone getting arrested like James Pierce, variety. I mean, there's been a variety of players have been arrested this offseason or in court. And of course, there's the story about the NFL possibly using replacement refs because of the union, the ref union they have an issue with right now. How would that look in the world of betting right now? And the third story that no one at the NFL wants anyone to talk about is the fact that they're currently being investigated by the FBI and the CIA for illicit anti-monopoly practices for streaming. So if it makes a lot of sense once you kind of consider the fact that the NFL doesn't want those stories out there. So, they'll push the AJ Brown trade stuff because that basically fills up all the air in the room.
Yeah. All right, Penny.
I just dropped a bunch of stuff here. I just dropped a bunch of shit. Gotta digest right now. So I'm going to digest all of that.
I mean, Benny, you make a valid point.
I don't think he's wrong.
I don't think you're wrong necessarily because it's been like the NFL has needed something all like there's been like the trades here and there that kind of grab your attention, and we'll get into the Giants trade like a little bit later. The Giants just traded away Dexter Lawrence for the first round pick to the Bengals. And yeah, that's cool, but that doesn't get headlines for more than a day. But this AJ Brown thing, I don't know. I don't understand like what it is. And I think it's also kind of what Benny was saying, like the bigger picture also. I think it's more just like, and we could be biased because we're Eagles fans. The Eagles don't ever get like positive media, if that makes sense. It's always like Jalen Hurts is this and AJ Brown wants out. Like, and I feel like they're able to use this to distract from whatever else is going on. And since allegedly AJ Brown wants out, it's easier to kind of play into that. And it's also easy to play into AJ Brown because, his last game was atrocious. It was a very bad game. And it's easy to say, okay, he's gone. They don't want him because X, Y, and Z. He had a bad last game. Like, he's not going to be good. He's washed. And then you see the Rams thing come in, and it's like, okay, maybe the Rams wanted him. But I don't think we ever heard anything from an actual Rams executive saying, yeah, we were trying to get AJ Brown. We've heard things allegedly from the Patriots reporters that the Patriots were out of it. So I'm confused as to why it's still going on. And I don't want AJ Brown to go. I think the Eagles are kind of confusing everybody a little bit too by adding all these receivers because none of them are his caliber. And I know there's no way that Howie Roseman thinks any of these guys are going to be able to replace AJ Brown because they're not. So I think it is a little bit of smoke and mirrors. I think that AJ Brown is more than likely going to be an Eagle. And I just think that there's a lot of like negativity around AJ Brown just because of the way he acted last year. And he brought a lot of it upon himself. But it's like sometimes you just got to let it go, if that makes sense. And like they've got to find a new story. They've got to find something else to talk about because this AJ Brown thing has been drug on for months and months and months. And if we get to June 2nd and nothing happens, it's going to be like, what was the point of dragging this all out for months and months and months and months?
Yeah, my biggest thing is like, okay, if they're not trading AJ Brown needs to be 100% bought in. If he's going to pull the shit like he did last year, you might as well trade him because you can't have this media storm the whole season again, whether it's intentional or not. It can't happen again. You need to make sure he's bought into the system, bought in with Jalen Hurts, the whole 9 yards. if there's any little bit of a doubt there, to me, I think it is time to move on because it can't keep happening. Now, I know, the talent is going to be tough to replace. But also, are you replacing the talent from last year or you're replacing the talent from 2 years ago? Because what he was last year, he was a good receiver. But you look at the numbers, it wasn't tremendous.
Speaking of numbers, I want to read you just a set of numbers really quick. So
Dang,
a lot of people are making this statement that AJ Brown, when he was with Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans, he was this elite receiver with Tennessee, and he went to Philly, and he's been very good. Well, here's just a couple of numbers for you that kind of put into perspective why, to me, the AJ Brown trade doesn't make a lot of sense for another component. Doesn't make a lot of sense for AJ Brown. So when Mike Vrabel was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, now granted, I will at least give you the argument that the quarterback play probably isn't exactly to the degree that he would get in New England with Drake May, even though I'm not necessarily super high on Drake May as a passer. We can talk about that in a second. But so in 3 years with the Tennessee Titans, so that was 2019, 2020, and 2021, his yards per game with Tennessee was 65.7, 76.8, and 66.8. That was just 3 years in Tennessee. 4 years in Philly, 22, 23, 24, and 25, 88 yards per game, 85.6 yards per game, 83 yards per game in 24 when they won the Super Bowl. And this past year, 66.9. So his worst year in Philly this past year, 66.9 yards per game. That would rank as the second best he ever had in Tennessee. So again, to me, this whole argument that he's not getting the work that he could be getting. He's not getting the usage he could be getting. He is being used at an all-pro level with Philly because that's what you're getting out of him as an all-pro. You got a 3-time all-pro receiver right there. In Tennessee, he was a 1-time Pro Bowler. So again, to me, if you're AJ Brown, this is a situation where, it does make sense to me because AJ Brown doesn't come off to me as someone who is unintelligent. He comes off to me as someone that knows very much what he needs to do to be successful. Obviously, he's a Super Bowl winning wide receiver. He's a very talented wide receiver. So to me, if the argument is, or the alleged story is that AJ Brown himself wants out of Philly because he believes there's greener pastures out there, statistically, that's just not the case.
Yeah. I don't know how long ago it was either, but we really haven't heard AJ Brown. Like obviously he's not going to come out and say anything like, yeah, I want to be traded. No, I don't want to be traded. Like at this point, he's not going to say that, I don't think, just yet. But I forget how long ago it was, but it was maybe a month, maybe 2 months. I think around the last time we did our show, the beginning of free agency, AJ Brown, it was something about AJ Brown's publicist or lawyer or something came out with a statement, and it was 2 words: I'm back. So if that's from AJ Brown himself, I mean, that's pretty cut and clear. He's not going anywhere.
Howie Roseman said he's not going anywhere. I want to credit the person on Twitter that tweeted those stats that I read at Groovy GRVY Ware. So at Groovy Ware, basically. Thank you very much for the stat right there. Now, to me,
Chris is getting fried up in the comments.
I'm getting absolutely cooked.
Chris, how do you feel about not knowing nothing about soccer?
I've been to 2 union games in my life. I don't fucking know a damn thing about soccer.
I'm sorry.
Again, to me, none of this makes any sense. The AJ Brown trade stuff, it doesn't make any sense to me. What makes a lot of sense is that the Patriots would be obviously very clear the beneficiary of any AJ Brown trade, as they would be able to add, or if they were receiving AJ Brown, they'd be able to add him. It would make a lot of sense for them to want this and then him go someplace else. Again, we can talk about the aspects of this as to what I believe it could be. My belief is that it's more than just tampering. I think tampering might be the surface of it. Tampering is just the point of it. I think the NFL does this because they need to fill empty airspace, and here we are. So yeah, and I think, again, none of this AJ Brown trade stuff makes any sense on the Eagles' perspective. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. You don't get rid of an AJ Brown and then somehow improve your team. That doesn't happen.
That's exactly what Howie said.
Yeah, and you're not, and the compensation you're going to get back, I don't think the Patriots are going to be as good of a team next year. They benefited by a very weak schedule. The walk to the Super Bowl was a cakewalk for them.
I still think if the Broncos had Bo Nix, I don't think the Patriots.
They're probably beating the Patriots, but I think a lot. Again, I think this was the Bills' year. Really, if we talk about that, I think this was the Bills' year, and they just kind of flopped over. But that Denver game really hurt them. But to me, like the Patriots are not going to be a better team next year. I think they're probably going to be a little worse. And are they a playoff team next year? Maybe they make it as a wild card team. I kind of still think it's the Bills' division to lose. And, again, if they get A.J. Brown, the compensation the Eagles are getting are probably a mid-20 pick. And then the following year, probably a mid-20 pick again. And I just think that's, if you're going to trade A.J. Brown, you want either multiple first-round picks that are in the middle of the first round, or you want a top 10 pick. Because that's what, to me, he's worth. He's an elite receiver.
Kind of what Jesse's saying here. Jesse's saying in the comments, like, Howie's not going to trade him unless he gets what he wants.
Exactly.
And if Howie, I know they said earlier in the offseason, the asking price was a first and a second for AJ Brown. If Howie's
I've also yet to see anyone in the mainstream media talk about the big elephant in the room, which is the cap hit.
Yeah.
Like even if you move him post June 1st, that's still a $40+ million dead cap.
Yeah, the Eagles, Howie Roseman, of all people, is probably the smartest person in the NFL when it comes to cap space and manipulating the cap. Howie Roseman's not going to do something to put himself that far behind the 8 ball to where he's gonna hurt himself. Because the other thing about it is after this season, if Jalen Hurts plays well, they've got to extend Jalen Hurts. They're going to have to extend Jalen Carter. They're going to have to extend Cooper DeJean. They're going to have to extend Quinyon Mitchell. So realistically, the Eagles don't benefit at all by trading A.J. Brown, even after June 2nd or June 1st, because even with the cap hit, it's just going to hurt them down the road for extending players, and it's not going to be good.
I really don't care much about this situation. Like, if we lose them, we lose them. When are people going to – I've said this before. Howie knows what he's doing. Howie Roseman knows – Yo, Chris, Chris.
I gotta retire. I might be done. It might be over.
We have found the biggest chaos Chris hater of all time. Chris, I got a question. For you. All right.
Oh boy.
What do you know about horse riding?
I went to Harrah's one time when I was 12, and my grandmother let me bet on the horses, and I lost. So I guess nothing.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I guess he's right, dude.
What were you saying about AJ Brown?
I'm saying I don't care about the situation. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you, Chessie. Yes, I'm telling you right now, I really don't care much about the situation. We lose him, okay. He's 20 years old. It's going to be terrible for cap space, which is why I really don't think it's going to happen.
30.
Almost 30. What did I say?
You said 20. If he was 20, we would have a real issue.
He's actually 20.
He's not going anywhere.
Now he's coming after Jesse. Okay. Charles is not to be messed with in the comments.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
But yeah, A.J. Brown's almost 30. He's 29.
He's playing like he's 40. At least last season.
I mean, that playoff game. And that's the other thing is it's going to hurt even if he is gone, which I really don't think he is. But like, I think that's the other part of this that's gonna makes it hurt for Eagles fans is we love AJ Brown because AJ Brown was on the team last year when they won the Super Bowl, and AJ Brown had a Super Bowl touchdown. AJ Brown in 2022 had a big touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like AJ Brown being here, other than this year, was really
good,
probably top 3 receiver in the league in my opinion. This year he fell off a little bit. That's okay. It happens with age. It happens with injuries. Every great player has an off year. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
hopefully that's all it is. It's just an off year.
If he really does end up being moved, every Eagles fan is going to have that dying memory of AJ Brown dropping a pass on 3rd and 16 against the 49ers, dropping another wide open, dropping 3 wide open passes against the 49ers. That the Eagles could have won that game, and Eagles would have played the Rams at home. And then, who knows? The Eagles could have had a really, I think the week after, it snowed its butt off. So the Eagles could have had a snowball part 2. But no, A.J. Brown cost us snowball part 2. So it's all his fault. But it's just sad because even though you don't want to believe it, or even though really you don't want to believe it at all, because it would suck to see AJ Brown moved. It might happen. It might not happen. I don't think it'll happen. Benny doesn't think it'll happen. Mooner doesn't care. Chris,
I really don't care.
Chris says just get rid of him already.
I think we just need, like, no matter what happens, we need clarity.
Yeah.
Like, if they're not trading him, I need AJ to come out and say, hey, I'm in.
Look, I think we're focusing on the wrong part of the situation. Look, here's my question, all right? Do you think Mike Vrabel is a burger or tenders kind of guy? That's the real question.
Mike Vrabel is a Diana Rossini kind of guy. Am I right, Benny?
He is. He's a very much a Diana Rossini. He's definitely not family man. I'll tell you that.
Oh my god,
that is absolutely wild that Howie Roseman leaked this shit to come out.
That's crazy.
Is Howie Roseman a Diana Rossini guy?
No, I think
probably not.
Howie's the one with the camera. I think he's trying to get the Patriots to pay up more, and that's why he went out there with the camera and called Rossini.
Howie was the guy that hired the private investigator.
Yeah.
I said, I know something's fishy going on over there.
Imagine how that phone call was.
Bitch.
Imagine how that phone call was when the Patriots were like calling Howie. You still in on the AJ Brown trade? And Howie's probably just sitting there smoking. You thought you'd get me.
3 first now, bitch.
You thought you had me for a second. The game's always played on my rules.
Right?
Literally.
Wow, Dan.
Wow. Yeah. Well, all I know is Diana Rossini quit her job to make sure nobody else finds out about what else she's done.
I think the funniest thing that could happen in this whole thing is the day after the draft, her husband comes out and says, I was the one that hired the PI. We're divorcing. And then just boom, boom. At that point, then it's crazy. The other crazy thing that could happen. Oh, so lost in this whole thing, apparently, I don't know if this is a real story or not, but apparently Diana Rossini like saved a guy in a car accident. Like, so she gets caught cheating, loses her job, under investigation, and then like saves a guy from a car accident.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Mad
that is full on PI bullshit right there.
That's definitely
that's like Adam Schefter coming out and saying AJ Brown's definitely getting traded to the Patriots to try to cover up from what's going on. That's what that is. But Joe, Benny, you're not safe either, I guess.
Yeah, Benny can go too.
All right, well. Now let's ooh.
Oh, wrong one. Joe, you gotta highlight
I was just frying him up.
Oh. Yeah, he's trying frying up Benny. Got a whole kid talking about some my rules.
doing a Howie Roseman impression there.
All right. Let's talk about this draft, and actually going to do a quick plug. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 302 Birds draft catalog. Myself, Benny, Dalton Hollins,
not me. I did absolutely.
Jonah Cassell, and Conley Tripp. We all are key contributors here to this 302 Birds NFL draft catalog. You can find it on the 302 Birds page. I believe Dalton has a link in the bio to where you can download the PDF version of it if you want to find out all of our stuff. We have a bunch of takes in here. I'll read you just to give you a glimpse. I did a take on the Cowboys, and I'll read you that one because I cracked myself up with it. Where are the Cowboys at? Cowboys. Oh, they're early. See, I forgot the Cowboys suck this year. I mean, they do every year, but yeah. So this is my little analysis here for the Cowboys. Dallas sucks. Jerry Jones is going to screw this up because they have 2 first-round picks. Even though they have 2 first-round picks, Jerry will screw it up. And then we did our little picks. I gave him Sonny Styles from Ohio State at linebacker and Avion Terrell from Clemson. And I said Dallas just lost out on the big linebacker in free agency because Jacoby Dean is not a trader. And Deron Bland, he was magical one year, had a bunch of pick sixes, but he's trash now, and they just got rid of Trayvon Diggs too.
Yeah. Bland was just a Trayvon Diggs Jr. basically.
And again, it is Dallas, and Jerry Jones will end up screwing up his 2 picks anyway. So, yeah, that's pretty much like you can find all kinds of funny stuff like that in there. Most of the other teams we have actual analysis for. I just did a hate one on the Cowboys because we hate the Cowboys. But But yeah,
Had to.
so first things first, we're just gonna go over the actual first round draft, like first round order, because it just shook up as we aforementioned. So I think it was Saturday, maybe Friday or Saturday, maybe Sunday. So the Bengals traded their number 10 overall pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence. And Charles, the Bengals still suck, even though they got Dexter Lawrence. But
Trey Hendrickson.
yeah, they were just trying to fill in the hole left by Trey Hendrickson. So the Giants now have 2 picks. The Jets also have 2 picks. The Dolphins have 2 picks. The Chiefs have 2 picks. And the Cowboys have 2 picks. And I believe the Browns also have 2 picks. Yeah.
And the Jets.
Those teams all have 2 picks. But the draft order goes.
It's coming, Chris.
It goes as follows. Number 1, the Raiders. They pick first overall. We all know where they're going. Fernando Mendoza. Congrats. The number 2, the Jets. Number 3, the Cardinals. Number 4, the Titans. Number 5, the Giants. Then 6 is the Browns. 7 is the Commanders. 8 is the Saints. 9 is the Chiefs. 10 is the Giants. So 2 picks in the top 10 for the Giants. That's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. The Dolphins at 11, the Cowboys at 12, Rams at 13, Ravens at 14, Bucks at 15, Jets at 16, Lions at 17, Vikings at 18, Panthers at 19, Cowboys at 20, Steelers at 21, Chargers at 22, Eagles 23, 24 is the Browns, 25 is the Bears, 26 is the Bills, 49ers at 27, Texans at 28, Chiefs at 29, then Dolphins at 30, Pats at 31, Seahawks at 32 because they won the Super Bowl. So first, let's break right in. Like I said, the Giants. The Giants have 2 picks in the top 10, and as Eagles fans, should we be concerned that the Giants, who, quite frankly, did I think a lot better than most people thought they would last year, they have 2 picks in the top 10. Is that something do you guys think we should be concerned about?
Yeah.
Or do you think
Yeah.
because John Harbaugh now the coach of the Giants, so they have some actual competency
I mean, we have
at
to
coaching?
We have to pay attention to the Giants if they had no picks in the draft this year. The Giants are coming into this season looking pretty solid. All right. I mean, compared to Commanders and Dallas, they both apparently are supposed to be solid, but I think the Giants are the real threat this year. They have a nice young team. I mean, they're very well-rounded right now, which is scary. I know they kind of have a hole for, Dexter Lawrence per se on their defense, but they're going to be able to fill it quickly, especially with 2 top 10 draft picks. So Harbaugh's a great coach, and they're a threat no matter who they pick this draft. So we do got to keep an eye on them. They're not that too big of an issue, I don't think, but we do got to keep an eye on them. Either way.
I disagree with you. I think that the Giants are an absolute fucking joke. I mean, you're going to go trade away Dexter Lawrence? Really? It's such a dumb move to trade away Dexter Lawrence over money again. They're doing more money shit. They let Saquon go. They let Xavier McKinney go. Now they're letting Dexter Lawrence go. Yeah, they got a good pick back for him. Good. But you stop. They keep doing it. Every year they're trading away an all-pro player. It's not a strategy that's going to win you games in the long run.
Yeah, but if you look at it so in the short term, right, for the next 2-3 years, they don't have to pay Jackson Dart. They're not going to have to pay Scatterbo. They're not going to have to pay Neighbors for at least another 2 years, I think. Whoever they just pick up now, their defense, I mean, yeah, they lost Dexter Lawrence, but their defense is pretty decent.
They're not going to be able to stop the run at all now.
Well, Chris, this is you know what this is? This is a really edge-heavy draft, right?
Yeah, what about the interior
draft,
line,
okay?
Though? They need a defensive tackle now.
They'll figure it out.
Get a big old chunky boy and stuff him in the middle, dog.
They'll figure it out, dude. I mean,
clip that. Clip whatever just Mooner just said, clip that. You got to clip that. That's got to be a meme.
What did you just say?
I said just draft a big old chunky boy and throw him in the middle.
There you go. Actually, no, because we have our 302 Birds mock draft here. And at number 5, you know who I have the Giants taking at number 5? Defensive tackle Peter Woods. Yeah. Get smoked, Chris. And you know what? That was before Dexter Lawrence got traded. So I already knew. There's elite knowledge, elite ball knowledge.
They still need another defensive tackle after that. Then
Chaos, Chris. This is why you can't ride a horse, bro.
This is why you're 40.
All right, Chris. This is why you don't know nothing about soccer, bro. This is why, bro.
No, but yeah, the Giants. Like, look, every team is going to have deficiencies, and if the Giants' one deficiency is their defensive line isn't like the most elite, it's gonna be like they'll be okay, because defensively, if you can cover like, so it's not necessarily like always this way, but if what in the world is Charles talking about?
Yeah, Chaos, Chris. What you know about tubing, dog?
Tubing down the river.
Yeah. But if your secondary can be good enough to cover for at least 3 to 4 seconds, right? You don't need to have a world beater defensive line. Now, they have Abdul Carter, okay? They have Kayvon Thibodeau. So they already have the edge pieces, right? So all they have to do is get one decent defensive tackle, which if they draft Peter Woods, number 5 overall from Clemson, they'll have a decent defensive tackle. And all of a sudden, that defensive line doesn't look as bad anymore. And all of a sudden, the edge players, what are you going to do? Double them both? Okay, so you're going to leave a defensive tackle one-on-one with what, the center?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the issue they had before, I mean, they had Dexter Lawrence last year, and the defense was still suspect. So the Giants they're definitely a little more scary than what they were in the past. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team just yet, but they'll definitely be a team that could, shake things up in the division. I don't know if they're passing the Eagles. I think the Eagles is still the Eagles division to lose. But, with that being said, you look at the NFC East right now. Dallas just needs to get their defense straight, and then, they could be something. The Washington Commanders, I think, are kind of on the verge of entering a rebuild, which is wild considering they just went to the NFC Championship 2 years ago. Right. It feels like 2 games ago, but and then you look at the Giants. I say what you want about Harbaugh. I know a lot about what happened in Baltimore. I think his message just got stale, but he's still a coach that has Super Bowl ring on his finger and a significant track record for success. In terms of what this pick could be at 5, I think it's going to be Sonny Styles, because the one consistent trend for Harbaugh defenses has always been the linebacker play. Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, C.J. Mosley, some of the more elite defensive the linebackers that he had with the Baltimore Ravens. Ray Lewis, you're correct. Ray Lewis is one of the Super Bowl winning teams. Safety play too. Kyle Hamilton, Ed Reed. He didn't draft Ed Reed, but he definitely had Ed Reed as a key piece of that defense. So, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, those are 2 guys out of Ohio State that could be the pick at 5. Really, could be the pick at 5 and could be the pick at 10. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a different Giants defense. But they definitely are. Losing Dexter Lawrence, you're softer in the middle. But I kind of also think they definitely did not do themselves any favor in the negotiations for Dexter Lawrence, who himself, only a 1-year extension with Cincinnati. The Bengals, to me, the weirdest part about that trade is what the Bengals are doing, because I kind of think they needed that pick. They need some young talent to come in and just kind of freshen up that team. Dexter Lawrence is talented. I don't think he's solving your entire problem on your defense.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got the Dallas Cowboys.
Bro, man, talking about.
I know Charles has got us all giggling up here. So we got to talk about it.
Chris,
I kind of alluded to it, and I just one of the guys you just mentioned, I have predicted to go to Dallas, because Dallas has 2 picks in the top 20, 12 and 20. Here's the thing. Dallas is like, even though they're like kind of, it seems a piece away, like intellectually and physically and playing wise, ability wise, they're light years behind. But I feel like, are almost in the same boat as the Eagles were a couple years ago, where it's like they have the offensive talent. Their defense just cannot hang. Like last year, their defense, and that's really been their issue for the last probably 3-4 years, is their defense just implodes. And if they can get some good young talent, and now they've got Christian Parker, the Eagles defensive coordinator, in, if they can get some good young talent around their defense, they could be scary. Luckily, the Eagles avoided either one of any of their players. Chaos Jones.
So we seem to have a little bit of kickback from Charles. All right.
He's sorry.
He's sorry. And this guy, Benny Panella 9189.
Benny Panella.
Whoever that is. Said Chaos Charles, I'm out.
You are still getting blamed.
I'm kidding. Your name is
no more.
Chase Chris in the 2020.
Chris is never going to join this podcast ever
I'm done.
again.
It's my last time on Underwood.
But the Cowboys are almost like a couple defensive players away. They have the defensive line, and they have the offensive weapons.
Thank you, Alex.
As much as Dak is a playoff choker, if Dak can have a somewhat competent defense, I think he could maybe win a playoff game or two. I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't. I'm not sure. I don't think they technically have to do anything with Pickens just yet, but Pickens is going to want more money, so that's interesting. But I think Dallas would be wise for them. I know, Benny, you just said you had Sonny Styles going to the Giants. I actually had him falling a little bit to 12, and I think the Cowboys are going to pick him up. Like I said, they need a linebacker. They obviously went after, like Alex said, they're always going to choke, and I believe that is true no matter what. As long as Jerry Jones is in charge, they're going to choke. They're not ever going to amount to anything anymore, because once Jerry Jones got hit with the salary cap, he forgot how to act, and he just can't build a team that's good anymore. But I think the Dallas Cowboys, obviously they need a linebacker. We know they went after Nakobe Dean, didn't get it.
How much of going after Nakobe? I just ponder this. How much of going after Nakobe Dean was to address linebacker, or to try and see if they could, stick it to the Eagles?
I think it was a little bit of both, and I don't think it was as much sticking to the Eagles. I really do think Christian Parker came over and was like, and they probably looked at it more so not sticking to the Eagles, but hey, look, maybe
we need this guy.
We need this guy because you've not necessarily worked with him because he was a defensive backs coach, but hey, this guy's style, how he plays, and everything you ever hear about Nakobe Dean is he's the quarterback on defense. He runs it all. So they're looking for that guy that can run their defense, and Christian Parker having probably a relationship of some sorts with him, being in the building with him, of course. They probably went that way looking
like a
for
kind of relationship.
Yes, like a Vrabel Rossini type relationship. Except they wore socks, so it wasn't,
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's the rule. It's the rule.
But no, they have some type of relationship to where Christian Parker probably felt comfortable, as in, hey, I know Dean can run my defense, and that's what happened. But I think they were really interested. Obviously, we saw Nakobe Dean was not interested. He took the same amount of money to go right to the Raiders, which, hey, respect to him. Thank you. Didn't want to have to see him 2 times a year. But other than that, I think I had them taking a safety second. I got to check. I'm sorry. I'm very underprepared, but I have it in front of me.
You're telling me I couldn't name 3 people from the draft.
You're not supposed to admit that. Yeah. No. I was taking a cornerback. Okay, cornerback. Yeah. So actually, that's the funny thing is when I was researching for this, Deron Bland is their only cornerback on their roster.
They have one other, but you're correct. They don't have many corners. Yeah.
Yeah. He's currently their one other, that Deron Bland and one other, but he's currently their only cornerback on the roster. So they desperately. You know what, Wheels? Okay. You know what, Charles? Get him, Charles. Get him. But anyway,
attack,
Charles. No, they have one cornerback on their roster. That is insane. You are like an NFL defense. You have got to get it figured out. And that's why I said Jerry Jones will screw it up. He's going to pick a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman and forget about cornerback until the 7th round and be like, oh, I need a quarterback.
Yeah,
And he's going to pick Joe Schmo from St. Louis University, and he's going to go out there week 1 and get torched by A.J. Brown, and the Eagles are going to, like, absolutely stomp all over the Cowboys. Because A.J. Brown's not going anywhere. You heard it here first.
They do have multiple corners. The problem is you have Deron Bland. The other corner is a guy they drafted, I believe, a year or two ago from East Carolina. The name is unfortunately escaped me at the moment. But, Revel, that's what it is. Yeah, correct. That Revel. He came off an injury when he was drafted, so I don't know if he's necessarily played that much. Again, I'm not up to date on exactly the Dallas Cowboys cornerback situation, but Mansour Delane is going to be there at when they pick at 12. Probably the guy they need to go with, him or Jermod McCoy would be one of the two corners at the top of the draft. They probably should go and get later in the draft. You know, we're talking about what Dallas views themselves as right now. And I kind of see a couple of guys drafting, a lot of edge rushers in this draft, a lot of productive edge rushers in this draft. I kind of see a few of them falling. And one of them that's going to fall to me is Akeem Mesidor. He's an older edge rusher. He's going to be 26 at the time of week 1 of the NFL, 25, 26, going to be old. So to me, he's a guy that's probably going to fall. I don't know if he falls completely out of the first round. I've seen mocks where he goes mid-second round, and that's crazy to me. If he falls that far, if I'm the Eagles, I'm calling to try and move up in the second and get him because he is a very productive edge rusher. Yeah. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you constantly think you're a player away. And if we just get this one guy, maybe we can go and go on a run. And Akeem Mesidor kind of fits that profile, in my opinion, from what Dallas would kind of view them as. He's a very solid edge rusher. They came out of this draft with Mesidor and Akeem and Mansour Delane. I would think that Dallas's defense would look a lot better on paper. Of course, they still have to figure things out in terms of depth. That's going to be what's going to hold them back the most, is just the lack of depth on that roster.
Yeah. What do you think about this? So Jaden said Fangio disciples don't do really well as DCs, but he could be wrong. And then he said Gannon was a Fangio disciple, and so is Desai, just a little track record. In my opinion, at least, Gannon wasn't bad until the Super Bowl. I feel like he was just mentally checked out because they were up 24-14. You know what? He made a huge mistake in thinking, oh, this game's over. Got it in the bag. I'm staying here anyway. I'm going to be the coach of the Arizona Cardinals, whatever. He coached the Cardinals, was absolutely atrocious. So as a head coach, terrible. But Sean Desai was terrible. Sean Desai could not coach a defense to save his life. So do you think Jaden has a point there, Benny and Chris, that maybe
a little bit, but if Dallas were to get to the NFC Championship this year or the Super Bowl this year, they're partying in the streets. We won again and gone so fast after they lost the Super Bowl. Cowboys fans would be partying in the streets. So, I mean, I think Parker's going to wind up being a really good defensive coordinator. I don't know if it's this year because I don't think they really have the talent back there yet. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Keep going, Chris. Keep going.
But, yeah,
Chris, if you need anything, dog, just let me know, bro. All right?
Defensively.
Look.
Alexander said you're wrong, and Dallas will not be in the NFC title game. No way,
Chris. If you need anything, dog, just let me know. All right, we're here. We're here if you need anything.
We're here for you, and we love you, Chris.
Sorry, for any of you listening, he's getting flamed. I'm not gonna say the kid's name because I think it's his government name, which is ridiculous.
It is Charles Schnell 6022.
That's the last 4 of his social.
Yes, 6022 is the last part of the Social Security number.
Absolutely flaming Chris right now. So please,
Washington Commanders.
Jaden got a good question. Charles, can we call you Chaos Chuck?
Okay, no.
Could possibly.
Anyways,
So the Commanders only have 1 pick. Okay.
Commanders have 1 pick.
I'm a little distracted here.
So the Commanders.
That's the David Bailey pick, I think.
You think that's David Bailey?
Yeah, that's right.
I have that as Mansour Delane.
Mansour Delane. They don't need a corner. They need to figure out things up front. The Commanders. This will probably be Dan Quinn's last year as a head coach for the Washington. Definitely for the Washington Commanders. Probably a head coach overall. If he can't make this season work, if he can't get Washington back on track this year, I think he's done, and he's probably just going to want to be a defensive coordinator moving forward.
Do you think they'll give him any grace because of last year with Jaden Daniel getting injured or anything?
No, they don't. This is the Josh Harris era What you're
sell
seeing,
the Sixers, Josh Harris, we hate you.
Again, the best thing I can tell everyone is if you want to, I tell Washington fans this all the time. If you want to understand what the Commanders are going to do, just look at what the Sixers do, look at what the Devils do, look at all the other, because they all operate the same way. They can build a solid team. They can get you to the playoffs a few times, but never in the Josh Harris era has he pushed his chips all in.
Is Commanders the worst name ever?
It's a bad name. That's a bad.
Oh, no.
That is
It's a bad
Charles.
Oh, no, that's a
name.
layup.
I think Charles is a worse name than that.
I would agree with that.
Charles is a pretty bad name. I mean, who names themselves Charles? Jaden Moulter is getting taken out of the comments now. Poor Jaden. Yeah,
it is better than football team, Jesse.
I think
it's definitely worse than the Guardians. The Guardians makes a lot of sense because I've been to Cleveland quite a few times. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law live out there. It's probably one of my favorite towns to go to. A lot of bars. Where their stadium is, just past it is the Guardian Gate Bridge.
Okay.
So it makes a lot of sense for that. Guardian Gate Bridge, really cool bridge too. They have some really cool stuff.
Yeah, chat. Why is Joey talking?
I don't know.
No, to me, if we can talk about this, to me, the most intriguing pick in the top 5 is where Jeremiah Love goes.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be the first piece that's going to kind of create this sliding scale for the draft, where if he slips past the Titans at 4, all hell's going to break loose. It's going to be chaos. The draft will be chaos at that point because he could go to the Giants. He could go to the Commanders. He could go. I mean, I could even see the Browns taking him. There are so many teams that kind of need a running back, and Jeremiah Love's like very clearly the best running back in this draft, probably the best player in this draft in terms of talent. And the landing spots for him, if he gets past Tennessee, it could create a complete mess of everyone's mock draft.
So I do got to say, so allegedly, right? So we'll play off of that scenario, okay? So Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, Titans all make their picks. Jeremiah Love's still on the board. If you're like, I don't know, say the Saints, the Dolphins have a pick, have 2 picks in the draft. I don't think the Cowboys really need a running back. So say you're the Saints or say you're the Dolphins, right? Are you calling the Giants trying to move up to 5 potentially?
Not if I'm the Saints, because the Saints have 2 running backs on the roster. They still have Kamara, and they just signed Travis Etienne.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I forget. Is that actually his last name is not Etienne, and I forget. I think it's actually Travis
Etienne or something.
I think it's Etienne. Yeah. It's a French pronunciation of his last name. It literally looks like Etienne. But no, the teams that I think could move up for a Jeremiah Love are the teams that possess multiple first-round picks, but need a running back. Or a team kind of that picks towards the end of the draft that might think that, we could probably go up and get him. But it's weird because like a lot of the teams that need a running back that are that running back away from like really contending for a Super Bowl or really contending for a deep playoff run, they don't have the draft capital. Like the Seattle Seahawks do not have the draft capital to move up. If anything, they're probably going to drop back. Denver got rid of their first round pick for Jalen Waddle. I don't have any more to kind of go all in there for. I don't think the Patriots are going to be moving up and getting a running back anytime soon. And outside of that, there's other teams that are on this list that I don't think are going to be doing that. Chiefs, I think Jeremiah Love is going to be one of these guys that's going to end up in either New York, Tennessee, or if the Giants decide to move past him, man, I'd be shocked.
So Schneider says he wouldn't draft him in the first round because running backs in the first round don't pan out well. I mean, Saquon
Bijan Robinson, though.
Well,
Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson.
This example he used was not. It's like Saquon Barkley doesn't exist.
Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson. Wasn't Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round too?
Gibbs is the first round pick.
Maybe Pittsburgh just can't draft him in the first round.
I think running backs can work out anywhere you draft him, first round or anything. It's all about how you use them and the system you set up around them, and also what your definition of success is. Bijan Robinson has been a wildly successful player in the NFL. Falcons haven't played a single playoff game with him on their roster. So to me, has it helped the Atlanta Falcons? It's kept them above water. Imagine if they didn't have Bijan Robinson on that team.
Oh yeah.
I'm still in the camp where, I wouldn't draft a running back top 10, even though they are very, very valuable. Just like I just feel like the value there, just it's not there to me still. Especially like we just saw Seattle win the Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker had a hell of a Super Bowl. Just let him walk. Like, didn't even try to bring him back. Just let him walk. That to me is just, it's wild.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the meat and potatoes, the chunk. The number 23 pick, our very own Philadelphia Eagles. Benny, where do you think we're going number 23 overall?
A lot of people are speculating the Eagles would probably move up to try and get Jordan Tyson, using whatever they get back for the A.J. Brown trade, or using the A.J. Brown trade to replenish their draft stock. Again, I'm operating based off of what I believe. I believe week 1, A.J. Brown is going to be on the Eagles roster. I'm just laughing at these comments here. And with that, I think this is the pick where I think you have to find yourself the heir apparent to Lane Johnson, or even a guy that you think could even move in and play some guard with what we know about Landon Dickerson. So I think this is going to be an offensive lineman pick. I think it's smart for the future of this team, especially considering the fact that we just talked about it. They're going to have to pay a bunch of guys. They're going to have to pay 2 corners. They're going to have to pay one defensive tackle. They're going to have to pay their quarterback again. They're going to have to pay Nolan Smith. They're going to have to pay all these players at some point.
Do you think they'll pay Nolan Smith, or do you think they'll move on from him? Because with the way J. Hunt played last year, I think that's a potential that they can move on from Nolan Smith.
And listen, they could. I kind of tend to believe that the price tag for Nolan Smith won't be super high, so maybe you just pay him and just have him in the rotation. I think he's a starter. I don't think he's a star. Okay. I think that's the best way to put it. But you could do a lot worse than Nolan Smith. You could also do better. And Jalen Hunt's a great guy to have, but until he has a truly dominant year, I don't necessarily know if I could put him above what Nolan Smith gives you. So they paid Jordan Davis. I think they're going to keep investing in the trenches and the line. I think what they're missing right now is probably a defensive end, which could be a pick here if a guy drops. But to me, I think this is offensive line. It makes a lot of sense if you consider the future of what the Eagles are going to be looking at in terms of their roster. And I really like Max Yanker from Arizona State. Violent tackle. I mean, that man is a very physical road. I kind of look at him as like a road grading offensive lineman. He's not ready to start immediately, but very violent with his hands, very violent with his physicality on the offensive line. And a guy that I think with some coaching, maybe a year of seasoning, maybe even if you want to consider moving him inside for a season and kind of competing with Tyler Steen, or at least backing up Steen and Dickerson. Yeah. I think Yanker could be a really, really solid offensive lineman in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot on that, Benny. I personally,
Chris is struggling over here.
Dude, Chris looks so down. Dude,
if the Eagles are trading A.J. Brown, and this is just all if, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Oh, the speculation, the reckless speculation.
I'm just going to hypothetically say they're getting a first-round pick for A.J. Brown next year's draft.
Tell us, baby. Tell us.
I'm trading back in this year's draft. Going into the second round, there's a lot of offensive linemen. And there's a lot of development offensive linemen that you can let sit for a year or two.
Yeah.
I'm trading back in this year's draft, picking up another second or a third or something, or
another A.J. Brown
next year's draft. And then you have 3 or 4. At that point, you'll have 4 picks in the top 2 rounds next year that you can then use for all kinds of different things, whether you go trade for another player, whether you go trade up in the draft. I don't know, but you'll have a lot more going on for you then. Because I just feel like this is kind of a weak draft in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
But I feel like, that there's a cluster there of offensive linemen. If you drop back to like 45 to 50, you'll get one of those offensive linemen as a developmental guy. And then maybe you can use those other picks and get yourself a edge rusher from somebody. Because I don't really like too many options in this draft for edge rushers, but they need one. Because Phillips is gone, and they don't really have anything. Like they signed Ebiketie, cool, but you saw how much different that line was when they had Phillips and when they didn't. They need somebody on that level to help this team defensively.
I can see them. I can see them trading back just because But if they do trade back, I think they would trade back in the hopes of getting additional picks next year, or maybe even a first round pick next year. I don't think they would trade back and not come away with draft capital for 2027, just because of how talented 2027 is going to be. That quarterback class is going to be loaded with a lot of those quarterbacks coming out. Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, quarterbacks like that coming out next year. But to your point, Chaos Chris, there is a defensive end that's been falling in a lot of mocks. Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. He's been dropping off of a lot of mocks. I've seen him actually slip all the way to the third round in a lot of 2-round mocks. People just aren't happy about his size and his wingspan and his arm length. So, to me, if Cassius Howell can fall to the Eagles, there was production there out of Howell last year. And it's not like this guy is going up against schmucks. He's in the SEC. So he's going up against really talented players. Yeah. Speaking of the SEC, there was one question earlier. If I thought Caden Proctor or Blake Miller would be off the board by the time the Eagles pick, I think Proctor's going to be off at that point. Miller, I think, will be still there, but I don't want anything to do with Miller. So to me, if you don't go with Maxi Anchor, I am actually a big proponent of the idea of moving back and sliding back into that second round with the understanding that the Eagles come up and get some draft capital, first round draft capital if they can, try to find a way to swing it for 2027.
Yeah. I think so in mine, I went a different way. So my big thought here is the Eagles are lacking at the safety position. Just like I said, the Cowboys have no cornerbacks. The Eagles they have a couple safeties. They re-signed Marcus Epps. They have, I think it was like the Falcons practice squad player they either traded for in the Sidney Brown trade, or they got right after they traded away Sidney Brown. But I have them picking Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He's from Toledo. He actually played, I think it was a year maybe. He played with Quinyon Mitchell, and that's my reason. That's why I want them to pick him, because the last time they had a first round pick from Toledo, you know what he did? 2-time All-Pro. Turns into an absolute monster in the playoffs. So I think that's why they should pick him, to be honest with you. But I really do think the Eagles' biggest need right now is safety. Even if they do trade AJ Brown, they haven't filled the gap completely, but they've done enough to kind of patch it up. And I kind of think with the way the Patriots have added a couple receivers as well, I should have said this earlier. I think they're both trying to play it off maybe they'll do something, maybe they won't, but they've both added receivers they're not going to trade. So potentially, I know this was thrown out around a while ago, but potentially they'll trade away what's his name? What's that receiver the Patriots got? Not Wicks.
Moody?
No. The dude that wears the big giant helmet. It looks like a bobblehead when he's out there.
Oh, Dobbs.
Yeah. I don't think the Patriots are going to trade away Dobbs for AJ Brown.
I just signed him. No, you can't.
But in a sense, maybe Mac Hollins reunion with Philly, something of that sort. Who knows? But
Booty.
Who knows? I just think the Eagles, their biggest need right now, biggest need is safety. You've got Makuba, and if he can come back from his injury, he'll be fine. Yeah, you've got Epps. I like Epps. I do. But Epps, he's not a starter material. I feel, no disrespect, I feel the same way Dennis felt about Reed Blankenship about Marcus Epps. That's how I feel. And I shouldn't feel that way because Marcus Epps has been fine. He's been way better than Sidney Brown ever was. But I just think that the Eagles need a different safety. They need a new safety. They need a young safety, because you can't just keep re-signing Marcus Epps for 1 year for the next 5 years and hope that it's going to work, because eventually it's not going to. Maybe this season
I'm going to throw something out there. I'm going to throw something. The Eagles starting safety, the 2 starting safeties, and very successful safeties, they're on the roster right now. It's going to be Makuba, and I think it's going to be Cooper DeJean. They went out and they got Tyreek Woolen in free agency. He's an outside corner. He's a very big physical outside corner. So he'll kind of mirror what you're going to see out of you're going to mirror him on the other side with Mitchell. It's going to be the slot position they'll have to figure out. But I kind of believe that you're going to see a combination of Makuba Epps and Cooper DeJean at safety, and they probably will use DeJean kind of as a star type player. You see it a lot in college where that safety that comes down in the box, lines up, takes a tight end, takes a slot receiver. So I think that's what you're going to see out of DeJean. But there was a question here about Blake Miller. Really quickly, Alexander, I want to clarify. I'm not crazy about Blake Miller. I just think if you have Yanker there or Caden Proctor or another offensive lineman there, I kind of have them above Blake Miller. Clemson did not have a good year this past year. And one of the big issues for them was the offensive line. So I kind of don't want to pluck from a hole in the wall or a hole for Clemson. So that's where I'm at on Blake Miller. I think he's going to be a fine offensive lineman. In my mock, I have him going to the Houston Texans, who desperately need an offensive lineman. But yeah, for the Eagles, I think they probably will address safety and corner in this draft. I think it's going to happen probably on day 3.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think so? I got to ask you this. It's like a very quarterback lacking draft. Mm-hmm. Do you think thought with from the top rope? That's beautiful. Do you think that
the chats are going crazy?
I love this chat. This chat tonight is awesome.
Miller is really reliable, but we're trying to win a Super Bowl. We don't want to.
Yeah,
we're not trying to be reliable.
Do you think that the Eagles, in the later round, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th, are going to take a quarterback? Or is there even going to be a quarterback for the Eagles to take?
The only
Drew Aller.
I hate Drew Aller, so I'm a big Penn State fan.
No,
What are we doing?
I'm a very big Penn State fan. I've been a Penn State fan for a long time. And Drew Aller, to me, people sit there and say, oh, he could be Josh Allen. Well, anyone can be anything. It's what you have. And
he's
Drew
Josh Allen in the playoffs last year, turned the ball over 4 fucking times.
I don't even think he's that. I think Drew Aller is he's like Paxton Lynch. I don't see anything out of Drew Aller that is redeeming. The quarterback I actually like beyond Fernando Mendoza.
Alexander agrees. Drew Aller sucks.
Yeah, Drew Aller's terrible. You're not good. You can't even call him a project because he's 23. So by the time he's ready to go and you get ready to pay him, he's going to be in his late 20s, and I just don't think that's productive for a team. So
congrats,
good luck. Good luck.
Old when Dalton's Instagram.
I think Drew Aller, just because of his arm talent, is going to wind up going way.
This
too
QB
high.
class does.
Oh, someone's gonna take him early and think, oh, we can if we fix him, but that'll create a bit of a spot.
Chuck Nuts, your stalker, Dalton.
That'll create kind of a chance for another quarterback to fall that I actually really like. It's not Ty Simpson. It's Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. I really like Garrett Nussmeier. Not a great year out of LSU this year. He was dealing with a lot of injuries and wasn't as productive. Of course, Brian Kelly got fired from LSU this year. He's not a very good head coach. I don't think Brian Kelly's a good head coach at all. But Garrett Nussmeier is a coach's kid, and you can see his turnovers, his interceptions. It wasn't a lack of understanding what the play is supposed to be. It was a lack of talent around him and the injury he was dealing with, and also that I think LSU at one point just kind of was a rudderless ship. So to me, Garrett Nussmeier is a guy where I don't think he's going to be able to come in and be a starter immediately, but I think there's something there that if he does fall around the 5th round, the Eagles get him. I could see a situation where they turn around and they try to find something for Tanner McKee to go to, or some place for Tanner McKee to go to, because you have Andy Dalton and you'd have a guy in the future for Garrett Nussmeier, who I think is a pretty good backup quarterback. It could be a good starter in the future.
So I got a quick kind of question for everybody in the comments. Chuck, take a breather for a second. Jaden, Dalt, Jesse, Dennis, I saw you were in there as well. Any of you guys, send us who you think, or even Alexander, I think is your name. Yeah. Any of you guys, send us who you think the Eagles should pick in the first round. We'll kind of go over that really quickly. Got a little bit longer to go. But if the Eagles were to go offense, do you think – I kind of want to go back to what – no one from Delaware deserves to be drafted. They all suck. All right. Miami has some good receivers. Okay. Does Miami have good receivers?
I have one.
Okay. I know Ruben.
Yeah.
What actually happened with Ruben Bain?
So Ruben Bain, 2 years ago, there was a car crash that he caused, and it resulted in a fatality of the person that he hit. However, charges were dropped by the family. The family actually explicitly came out with a comment recently and said they did not want this to impact his career. Funny enough, I had Ruben Bain going to the Cincinnati Bengals at 10. I think he's probably going to fall. And if he does, I mean, there's an edge rusher right there that is, to me, a top 2 edge rusher in this draft that likely is going to fall. And if he does fall and the Eagles are there at 23, I'd be considering that because I think he is very talented, very productive out of Miami. And again, I watch a lot of college football, and one thing I could not stop watching whenever I saw the Miami Hurricanes was the guy on their defense that was causing a lot of the plays. Akeem Ezador's a good edge rusher, but it was Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain was keeping them in that game in the first half against Indiana before inevitably Fernando Mendoza and that team were able to pull away. Okay. But yeah, Ruben Bain to me, it's an unfortunate circumstance. Things like this, they come up in the draft, and it's kind of the weird part of the draft media coverage and what they dig up. But yeah, he's really talented. It's unfortunate what happened, but the Eagles have dealt with situations like this before. And as a matter of fact, if they end up with Ruben Bain, he'll be lining up again a lot next to a guy that's had situations like that in Jalen Carter.
They'll get along together well. Just don't let them in a car.
They need to hire them a driver.
Yeah, get them a driver. Get them an Uber account.
What do you think of? What do you think of? Who was it? Hold on.
You got a lot of comments.
There's a lot of comments. The Fall of Fire said Kenyon Sadiq. Honestly, I thought he could fall, but I think if he does fall, I think our catalog I had him going to the Steelers. I think he falls that far. Do you think he's somebody that could fall? And I don't think the Eagles would take him, just because they have 6 tight ends on the roster right now. But if he begins to fall too far, is that something the Eagles potentially keep an eye on, swoop in and steal him, or do you think he'll be going
how he's approached the draft? Everyone talks about it. It's always best player available. If Kenyon Sadiq is at the Eagles pick, and all the other players that I would believe would be ranked above him,
Dennis said you're grumpy. He said you need to be happy. Put a smile on your face, Benny. There you go.
Benny's been
there. You go, Dennis.
Today.
You got Benny to smile.
What's happening, dude?
We
have the wildest comment section.
I'll get to a comment Dennis made earlier, and I'll have fun with that in a second. But to me,
good to see you as always, Chris.
If Kenyon Sadiq is the best player on the board when the Eagles pick. Again, I'm considering some of the guys I've already named are probably ahead of him on the Eagles board. I think the Eagles would probably take him. I don't know if it would make a lot of sense for them to do, but I actually have a way crazier idea for where Kenyon Sadiq is going to go. And I think it's going to be at number 13 to the Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh.
Now, here's why. In the offseason, the Rams were in the middle of this A.J. Brown trade drama. They were allegedly one of the teams that were looking in on A.J. Brown. We know about what's been happening with Puka Nacua. Again, another reason why I think the NFL has pushed the A.J. Brown trade rumors.
How is Benny grumpy?
I'm not grumpy at all.
How is Benny grumpy?
What did I do? Is that me?
Screw you, Mikey. Dennis coming after you too.
All right.
I'm a week and a half from being a dad. I'm over the moon.
Yeah, Dad, Benny. Woo!
Yeah. But I think Kenyon Sadiq at 13, the Rams, Puka Nacua, we know about his offseason of very interesting things that have happened. The biting incident, I think there was him going.
Wait, there's a biting incident?
So allegedly, Puka Nacua was on a party bus and.
You're talking Nacua. I thought you were talking about Sadiq still.
No, that's the kind of thing Charles would do for real.
So to me, it would make a lot of sense for Kenyon Sadiq to be there at 13. The Rams go, hey, this is a guy who, yes, his position says tight end, but to me, when I watch him play at Oregon, he can block a little bit. He kind of reminds me more of, or kind of looks to me more as like a slot flex receiver, a guy you can line up in line at tight end, stand him up, and then move him out to the slot. And that got my juices flowing a little bit in terms of thinking, what could Sean McVay do with a player like this? So Kenyon
Dennis
Sadiq,
is wishing triplets upon you next time.
If there's 3 in there, that's news to me because all the ultrasounds.
No, next time.
Twins do run in the family, so I'm not looking for. If I end up with twins, that wouldn't be great.
Little Benny Jr.
Little Benny, maybe a Benny Jr.
Benny Juniors.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
Oh yeah.
What is
Dolph's
that,
gonna let his
Dynamite?
dog meet Chuck. That's awesome.
What is happening, dude? What is
Can you
happening?
Sadiq-
Oldest is gonna meet Chuck.
What is happening?
Kenyon Sadiq to the Rams, and then Dennis. There is one player from Delaware that I think next year will probably be a high pick. And when I say high pick, I probably mean like a third, second round pick. That's their quarterback, Nick Minicucci. I see Nick Minicucci as a very talented player. He was the number one quarterback in the conference this year for Conference USA. He has another good year. Now we're talking about 2 years of a quarterback producing for a G5 conference, and I think at that point you would probably see him get some attention. It's a kind of a hefty quarterback class though next year, so he might get kind of overlooked in that sense. But if he gets to a combine invite, that's all.
This is wrong, Alexander. Joe Flacco is the greatest. Joe Flacco is the greatest quarterback to ever come from Delaware. Okay, the Super Bowl MVP would not have like what are you talking about? Delaware should be banned from football. Okay, Delaware. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Benny.
No, he's just joking. He's just joking.
Delaware.
Guys, call it off.
Hold on.
Alexander's just joking.
I don't care. I'm gonna give me this rant. But anyway, Delaware, I believe now, is actually in Division 1, so they could technically, if they were that good, they could potentially compete for a national championship. Am I wrong?
So they've been in D1 since the early 2000s. They moved up from Division 2 to go in Division 1. In the Division 1, there's two different. So Division 1 has two subgroups. There's the FCS, the Football Championship subdivision, and the FBS, the Football Bowl subdivision. The FCS is the lower part of D1. So that's what they were in. They moved up to the FBS now in Conference USA. So yes, if they win the conference and are ranked high enough, they could qualify for the playoff.
You're welcome,
and
Alexander.
like you saw JMU last year compete for a national championship.
Hey, all I'm saying, book it, 2027. Dennis is going to hate it, but Delaware University is winning the national championship. You heard it here first. Nick Mininucci or whatever the guy's name is. He's going to lead them.
They couldn't even beat Villanova in FCS, so good luck.
They will go to the playoff, Dennis. Mark my words. And they will beat Miami in the national championship, okay?
All right, well, we're going to end it here because things are getting really weird in the chat for some reason. So, all right, any last words, Benny? Shout-outs, anything?
I want to make a shout-out to my fantasy football league, the League of Famous Gentlemen. And
oh, my gosh, again?
Championship belt right here.
Hey,
another one?
Let Benny won his belt.
I can't believe he got another one. He does this every year.
This is the same one. I've won 3 in this league.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have a chance to defend it this year, and baby, I don't want this leaving my house anytime soon.
Amazing.
Baby Benny is going to learn all about that.
That's awesome. All right, Chris, anything from you, dog?
Tell Charles you love him.
Baby.
Dennis,
that works too.
You said what?
So let's go Flyers.
Let's go Flyers!
Flyers! All right.
Go Flyers.
Fly high. I'm so sorry.
Well, wait. Very quickly. Benny, in 10 seconds or less, would you do a wrestling match with Dennis C?
I would do Dennis. I wrestle Dennis. Yeah.
You'd wrestle Dennis? All right, there it is.
Like
Dennis,
Dennis, I'm in.
Dennis, you called him out. He said he would do it. All right. So we're going to have to make it happen. Sponsored by UTW and 302 Birds, the Dennis vs. Benny wrestling match. But anyway, that's all we have for you tonight, guys. We appreciate everybody in the comments. Charles, thanks for keeping making
stuff
us
interesting.
laugh. As always, yes. Alexander, we thank you. Everybody else that commented, Jaden, Jesse, Dalton. I feel like I'm missing a couple. Dennis, we appreciate you coming as
Get
well.
the ring, Dalton.
Benny, Chris, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you so much.
As always, thank you for sharing everything. And like Mooner said, let's go Flyers. Let's sweep the Penguins.
I mean, Chris had it.
And let's have ourselves a great playoff
Merry
run in hockey,
Christmas.
because we all know the Flyers and the Phillies, or no. We all know the Sixers and the Phillies suck. So, go Birds!
For life, brother.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Gets it, Saquon